Okay.
No, it's our culture. I do believe really that he'll be there. So, what is he going to do now to be able to get, number one, food security is going to be quite a problem.
Very important.
Because
the way he's answered it, Gil, from what, if I can recall, properly based on print media anyway, the answer to that question as far as the economy is, he directly answered it by saying that he cannot qualify or give qualitative answers simply because he needs to identify the true state of the nation. He does not trust the sitting administration and the reports that have been coming out. Sabi niya nga, diretso, di ba? I saw that, I think, in one of the TV shows, and he was saying, hindi, paano natin malalaman? Alamin muna natin kung saan talaga tayo, kung saan talaga nangangailangan, at doon natin iisa-isa yung sasagutin natin. Yun ang sinabi niya lang.
In fact, he said, during his press conference, he said, unless we identify the problem correctly, we won't have the correct solution.
Is that a good answer? Is that proper?
Correct. Correct. I agree with that. Because you have to have an inventory of what you're inheriting to be able to do something about it. But
interestingly enough, the administration moving out is praising to high heavens all their work. Diba? In fact, they're going to magnify that in tomorrow's proceedings in Independence Day. Yeah, diba sinasabi nila, dami nilang even for the military alone and all their achievements.
I'm not too comfortable with the statement of President-elect Noynoy Aquino for the very simple reason that you have to make a differentiation between the inventory of your logistics vis-a-vis the general problems which have already been identified. This is precisely why I'd like to think that he ran for president because he has already identified the problems. Now, probably he is talking about ano bang pwede natin gamitin para isolve ito. Maybe this is what he's trying to say. I would like to think that's what he meant. What are the arsenals we can use to solve the food security?
Rather than
logically, I agree with you. I'm not debate there because that's logical.
I'd like to think alam niya yung problema kasi ba't pa siya tumakbo kung hindi niya alam ang problema, di ba?
Or at least he must have a perceived
a
notion of what the problem is about.
Kaya nga, during sa mga debates, pag tinatanong siya, may mga naisasagot siya.
May naisasagot.
Because of that, di ba?
So, ideally, he should already know. Kung ngayon pa lang siya mag-uumpisa, he's not gonna hit the ground running.
Exactly.
It'll take him a year just to understand it.
Correct.
Pag hindi mo pa alam ang problema ng bayan, ngayon pa lang, hindi mo na malalaman ang problema ng bayan.
So that, now, I'm going to choose to be kind to him. At this point in time, and say he knows the problem. Ergo, the first problem would be energy. Because without energy, you're not getting anywhere. Your economy is not going to get anywhere.
No industries, no
industry. If your economy is not going to get anywhere, your political situation will not get anywhere.
How does a president, with all the good intention, go about addressing 20 different issues all at the same time? Energy, water,
that depends.
Unemployment, the deficit, diba?
What I've seen in the past, it's a matter of you're the captain ball, you assign who's the forward, who's going to do the X job, and it's time and motion management.
You know, so dapat,
I agree with that.
Dapat alam niya na gagawin niya, mag-umpisa pa lang, dapat alam niya na.
Correct.
In other words, this is what we call the platform during the political campaign.
But Harry, where does the platform come from? The platform must come either from the core of the candidate. There are certain strong beliefs that he should put forward vis-a-vis his team, his campaign team, and they can throw this towards each other. But there are certain issues that you must be strong about and that you are definitely sure about.
An advocacy.
Yeah, because if there is no core, there is no soul to the candidate.
Wala.
Just good intention. Then you'll be letting the entire team just run away with the ball.
That's why you need a vision. You need to have the dream, concretize it in words, and let the people understand it. Through your campaign, that should have been done already. But
do you think President Noynoy would have this at this point? Do you see it? Do you hear it? Does it show anywhere in the cracks or anything?
Well, the only thing that was clear to me, I don't know, to both of you, if it was true also, was that, number one, he wanted to get the Philippines into a position where it's an investment destination. Because that means people in the Philippines will no longer have to go abroad to seek work. There is work here. You know,
so foreign investment.
Foreign and local investment.
Foreign and local.
Yes.
But you know, like you said, if you're going to talk about the economy and you're going to talk about investments, first thing you got to address is power. The reason why they're staying away is not only because the inherent dislike for our judicial system, wherein today it's okay, tomorrow it's not. Diba? Ganun nangyari sa atin eh. Meron mga bago pa dyan, Filipino first. Diba? Believe ako, we're gonna change the constitution eventually, so that foreigners can own land. Hindi naman nangyayari. Diba? I mean, ang daming issues eh.
But you see, we don't have any monopoly of this. Already you see signs of the businessmen getting into power, getting into energy. You know, they're already getting their positions set up, getting into communications.
San Miguel is a good example. Manny Pangilinan is another example.
Communications, the other one. In short, the infrastructure is going to have some kind of a priority if he knows his onions, if Noynoy knows his vision.
And to whom it is sold to, by the way.
Yeah.
Very crucial, to whom it is
Yes.
sold to.
I like that question, to who it's sold to.
Well, that's the politics of
May
it.
politics na yan.
Yes.
I've always said this, privatization for whom?
For whom?
For whom? Kasi nangyayari dito, mukhang pare-parehong mga mukha na pupunta itong mga crown jewels ng gobyerno. Diba? So, we have to
But
be
the players are only limited. There's only so many.
I know, but there is a way to do these things, you know.
Well, there is such a thing also here that must be done, and that is to make sure that the patrimony of the nation, I don't care whether the patrimony is in the form of a natural resource or something that is
well
there,
utilized.
Yes, it must be sustainable and utilized to the maximum for the benefit of the most. You see, without diluting the power of government to regulate.
You know, when you say that's a misnomer too as a business, for the betterment or for the most, for the majority, it does not necessarily follow immediately, especially in business and when you talk about sustainability. When you talk of, for example, power, putting up a power plant in a specific area, the people within the grid or within the area normally don't even benefit. In fact, they're the ones who suffer the consequence of the build-up of the power plant. Because pag hindi sila dinaanan ng mga transmission lines, sila ang pinakahuli at pinakamahal pa.
In fact, the barangays at the foot of Binga, Ambuklao, and all those are not electrified. They're not electrified.
But there's a reason for that.
Yes.
Kasi masyado naman mahal talaga, ida-down mo yun, kung kadami lang gagamit. Tsaka yung the transmission lines, really, if you understand the engineering, di ba?
Yes.
But as a president, as a leader, he's going to have to make those hard decisions to go in that specific direction.
Yes.
Di ba? Parang ganun lang labanan dyan eh.
Or relocate those people who cannot get electricity there because the economies of scale won't work, and get them to a place where they can prosper. You see, where you can now disperse production.
But, you know, for example, one of the things he says in the economy is, unahin niya is these automatic cash transfers that he wants to maintain and to sustain. Yung ginawa ni GMA that introduced the cash transfers to those who are in dire need, meaning payout, dole outs.
Yes.
Gusto niya ituloy ka agad yun. Now, I've read a number of editorials and a number of the broadsheets, and it seems a lot of them seem to be going in that direction as well. Parang, in other words, whatever you do, Mr. President, unahin mo maramdaman ng pinakamababa. But that does not necessarily spell sustainable energy and economic prosperity.
In fact, it could be a
The other way
non-ending
around.
drain.
Yes, exactly. That's my point. He will need to become unpopular to get to his end. Sometimes that's going to be a requirement. Di ba tama?
And how long can you do that?
Well,
I mean, you know, contagiously giving money to an individual. Because in other countries, such kind of unemployment insurance, etc., etc.
That's what's bringing them down.
There's a limited time for
Yes,
this, for
yes,
you to be encouraged
yes.
to look for a job. In short.
Yes.
but for that matter, any social benefit, any move towards social benefit for the greater majority, and then you're going to say you're going to hold back the deficit. I mean, you know, you're talking parang basketball tayo, walang bola, ha? Hindi ka paano ka magbabasketball, di ba? Ping-pong ang bibigay sa'yo.
You know, we must remember that the deficit is almost 300 billion.
Yes, expected, yes.
Okay. Now, if we don't rein in the whole spending of government, you know, that could be exacerbated. And if we don't rein in, we don't reduce or eliminate corruption, which according to the guesstimates costs us about 25% of the entire budget, we are going to be in real trouble.
Correct, correct,
So
correct.
those are the other